Have you ever wondered what happens when a baby is born, but literally no one knows how far along the pregnancy actually was? Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping into the fascinating world of neonatal medicine to look at how doctors act as medical detectives to discover a newborn's true gestational age. It's a process that is just full of vital clues, hidden signs, and incredible physiological secrets.
So, how many weeks old is the baby actually? You'd think in modern medicine we always know the exact date a baby was conceived, right? But when standard calendar dates, like relying on the mother's last menstrual period, are missing, or maybe ultrasound results are taken way too late and end up being completely misleading, well, a baby's true physiological age suddenly becomes a complete mystery.
To solve this mystery, here is our roadmap. Unlocking the secret, understanding the Ballard scale, decoding neuromuscular and physical maturity, converting the scores, and finally exploring exactly why this matters.
Section 1. Unlocking the baby's secret.
When the charts and medical records just draw a total blank, the medical team has to turn to the only reliable source of truth left in the delivery room. According to our source material, newborns sometimes keep their age a secret. Without maternal data, the baby itself holds the only clues to its developmental stage. They obviously can't tell us how many weeks they've been growing, but their bodies, their reflexes, and even their skin are broadcasting that information loud and clear if you know exactly how to read it.
Section 2. What is the Ballard scale?
Enter the Ballard score, or the new Ballard score. It's basically the ultimate medical cipher. It's this brilliant clinical tool used to determine a newborn's true gestational age based purely on physical appearance and neurological signs. Whenever the mother's data is in doubt, doctors pull out this specific tool to evaluate the baby directly.
What makes this tool so uniquely interesting is its beautiful symmetry. The Ballard score is essentially a 12-point cipher split perfectly down the middle. You have 6 neuromuscular maturity tests, which basically evaluate what the baby does and how it moves, and then you have 6 physical maturity signs, which evaluate what we can physically see on their body. Every single one of these 12 criteria is graded on a scale from -1 up to 5 points.
Section 3. Neuromuscular maturity, signs in motion.
Okay, so as a baby matures in the womb, their muscle tone and joint flexibility change in very specific, predictable ways. Take a test called the square window. Doctors will gently bend the baby's wrist toward their forearm. If the baby is premature, their joint flexibility is severely limited here. The wrist only bends to a stiff 90-degree angle, kind of resembling a square. But a mature, full-term baby's wrist, it's surprisingly flexible in this specific direction. It can easily fold completely flat against the forearm to a 0-degree angle. It's a striking difference that immediately hints at how long the baby was developing.
Babies are incredibly, almost bizarrely flexible, and doctors use that to their advantage, with a few other major steps on their clipboard. First is posture. A mature baby naturally rests in a tightly flexed frog position, while a preemie lies pretty flat and extended. Second is arm recoil. If you extend a full-term baby's arm, it quickly snaps back into a bent position. Third is the famous scarf sign, which looks exactly like it sounds. If you gently pull a premature baby's arm across their chest, it wraps easily around their neck, literally like a scarf, because they completely lack muscle resistance. A full-term baby will fiercely fight that movement. Finally, heel to ear. Gently pulling the baby's foot toward their head. A mature baby's strong leg muscles will highly resist this pretzel-like stretch.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here is timing. You cannot just do these movement tests the second the baby is born. The source material notes these neuromuscular tests are most accurate when conducted 12 to 24 hours after birth. Why? Well, because the trauma and fatigue of the birth itself can temporarily alter a baby's muscle tone. Furthermore, if a baby is on a ventilator, in intensive care, or has been given sedatives, their neurological responses are going to be completely skewed. In those cases, doctors actually have to skip the movement tests entirely and rely on something else.
Section 4. Physical maturity, external signs.
So if the baby is sedated, or even if we just need the second half of our cipher, the investigation shifts to pure, careful observation. Skin is one of the biggest giveaways. A premature baby arrives before their skin is fully baked, so to speak. Their skin is highly delicate, transparent, sticky, and noticeably red. You can often see right through to the veins. Contrast that with a mature baby who went the full duration. Their skin is thickened, opaque, and often peeling or wrinkled, especially around the hands and feet. Beyond the skin, doctors look at a whole checklist of other tiny, precise visual clues. They check for lanugo, which is a fine downy hair that covers a fetus around 24 to 28 weeks, but mostly falls off by full term. They look at the plantar surface, or the bottom of the feet.
A preemie's foot is totally smooth, while a full-term baby has deep creases across the entire sole. They even flick the baby's ear. Premature ear cartilage is soft and stays folded. Mature ear cartilage is firm and instantly snaps back. Finally, they observe the development of breast tissue and the anatomical descent and formation of the genitals.
Section 5. Converting scores to age.
All right, now for the math. By adding up the points from those 12 physical and neurological tests, doctors get a single number on their decoder ring. A combined score of -10 translates to an extremely premature 20 weeks of gestation. A score of 10 perfectly translates to 28 weeks. A score of 30 means 36 weeks. And right in the sweet spot, a score of 40 points confirms a full, healthy 40-week term. By simply doing this physical exam, a doctor can bypass missing medical records and pinpoint the baby's exact developmental age.
Section 6. Why is this important? You might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? If the baby is already born, does it really matter exactly how many weeks they were in the womb? The short answer is absolutely. Here's a major narrative twist from our source material. Sometimes looks can be incredibly deceiving. A baby might be born looking physically large and chubby, leading everyone to just assume they are full-term and perfectly healthy. However, babies born to mothers with conditions like diabetes often grow very large very quickly in the womb. Despite their large size, internally, they might only be 34 weeks developed. They have the immature, fragile lungs of a premature infant, and without immediate placement in the neonatal intensive care unit and life-saving surfactant therapy, they could be in severe danger.
And that brings us to this really provocative final question. Are we treating the baby's physical size or their true physiological age? The Ballard score ensures that medical professionals don't get fooled by a baby's weight or missing hospital charts. By evaluating joint angles, skin thickness, foot creases, and muscle reflexes, doctors are able to uncover the hidden truth. They treat the actual developmental age of the newborn, providing the exact targeted care that ultimately saves lives. That is the genius of the Ballard score. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer of the source material. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time as we decode another fascinating topic.